All right, deck tech. Well, let's give the same Urza Saga list from last non-budget spin a try, just with Esper Sentinel instead of Conjurer's Bauble. And yeah, this is also basically the same thing as the budget version. Just if you notice, just only the land-based really switched around. Basically, what that is Cave moves to the left, Field of Ruin moves to the left, everything moves to the left, and then Urza Saga moves all the way to the right, and that's because our Castle Ardenvale is all the way on the left here in the budget version, whereas here this is Urza Saga. So basically, that's just the swap. It's in the main deck. It's just Urza Saga instead of Castle Ardenvale, and just this one card really, I think, juices the deck up quite a bit. I think it's the difference in being, as much as I like the budget version, it is, I think, fundamentally a 3-2 deck, probably. That seems to be kind of the sweet spot for the deck. But this deck, I think, is definitely a solid 4-1 deck, and the difference between being a 3-1, a 3-2 and a 4-1 deck, I think, is the power of Urza Saga. And the format is prepared for it, but this deck plays so many incidental artifacts that I just really think Urza Saga, if you can afford them, this is a fun deck to play. Like, if you already have the budget version and you can afford Urza Saga, and you like Magic enough that you might even maybe play Urza Saga somewhere else or lend them to a friend or whatever, why not just get the Urza Sagas? I think, unless they've spiked a lot in price recently that I'm not aware of, but it's a fun deck in my opinion, and Urza Saga definitely adds a lot of power to the deck. I actually tried it in a lot of my other decks. Basically, my Merfolk, my Mono Black, I tried it in my Mono Black and my Merfolk deck as well. That doesn't have a home in Infect in my opinion. It also conflicts with Blood Moon too much, and Blood Moon's too important, I think, in the red decks. I don't think we can play it there, but yeah, it's not as good in those decks because those decks don't play the kind of insane amount of incidental artifacts. They don't have the clue tokens. They don't have the Esper Sentinel. They don't. Some of them, like the Mono Black deck, do play like Mishra Bauble and like Neil Spellbomb instead of Soul Guide Lanterns, but it's just not the same. And on top of that, also this deck it kind of needs it more. You know what I mean? It kind of plugs a fundamental weakness. Those other decks have large creatures and they can accrue advantage other ways. This deck can accrue advantage in other ways, but it really lacks the ability to produce gigantic creatures. And Urza Saga kind of fixes that. So no longer. So sometimes our tokens can go toe to toe with a Tarmogoyf or something, and that can be really important because sometimes we need to hold our removal for other things, or we just don't have the removal for whatever reason. And anyway, I don't think I need to sing Urza Saga's praise any more than it's already been praised. The sideboard is the same as the budget version, which we were on, I think, for a while before we circled back here. We are playing 4 Pithing Needle instead of Sorcerer's Spyglass, and the reason why is because whereas Sorcerer's Spyglass is helpful in the budget version because it dodges Chalice of the Void, Pithing Needle does run into that problem here, but since it can be fetched by Urza Saga, we can hopefully get it under a Chalice, and we have extra copies too, so we don't have to worry about drawing our only one in our deck and then it getting infinitely locked on our Chalice if we can't land a Cathar and deal with Chalice. We can always fetch the rest out under the Chalice because it puts it directly into play. It doesn't cast it, so it doesn't get countered by Chalice if you get it off of Urza Saga. And and then Shadow Spear in the sideboard for racing matchups mostly. Instead of playing a second Shadow Spear, which is kind of redundant when you have Urza Saga and when you have Leonis Squire to be able to buy it back, but of course in the budget version, since we don't have a way to tutor it, 2 is kind of necessary to make sure you actually can see it realistically. But here in this deck, we can play Elixir of Immortality as our other flex slot, and I really like Elixir of Immortality because our mill matchup is just atrocious, and it's still probably atrocious even without Elixir of Immortality, but I think it allows us to steal games possibly. Plus, it's really sweet against Burn. Never sleep on Burn. You could never have too much hate for Burn. Burn, you gotta respect Burn. Burn will get ya. And yes, even with Core Firewalker, they're prepared. They've got their Pyrite Spellbombs. They've got their Path to Exiles. They've got they're prepared. I've played Burn for a long time. No Burn player worth their salt just rolls over and dies to Core Firewalker. So Core Firewalker, though, needless to say, is still excellent and still improves our matchup night and day with Burn because sometimes they don't have the hate, but also just because sometimes we can overload them and force them to have to fight on too many axes. But like they don't roll over and die to it. It is by no means a bad card. It by no means means we shouldn't play it, because it's also a grizzly bear worse. But it does mean that extra hate against burn is always welcome. And the cool thing about Elixir Immortality is that since it shuffles back into our library, we can fetch it multiple times if there's a saga, and that can definitely come up. So yeah, other than that, not really sure what else to say. I mean, we've got our Leona Squire can obviously get back Esper Sentinel, but I already mentioned that in the budget version when we were playing that. The rest of the deck, Cathar Commando for Artifact and Enchantment Hate, and also it's our hardest hitting body, our only flash creature. Nice little tricks. It's just such a solid role play on this deck. Honestly, I don't know if this deck would be playable without it. I remember I was searching for a card to kind of tie everything together with like some way to cover that base. And I just couldn't believe what I was seeing when I'm like, huh, this is a common. I'm like, this looks really solid. I want to try it. And I remember when I was just looking through random cards that like came out in Ministrad, Midnight Haunt, and I'm just like, yeah, this looks solid. This is going in. Anyway, yeah, Winds of Abandon. Main thing is we're hoping to get to 6 mana and do a one-sided Wrath, but it can hold the fort before then. Thraben Inspector creates a little token to juice Urza Saga, while also being able to draw cards and just creating a little 1/2 body. Path to Exile, enough said. Esper Sentinel taxes them early on. This card actually is deceptive. Maybe one reason why I didn't give it a lot of credit early on is because, you know, I might have been losing some early games when I first tested this out, not because of Esper Sentinel, but in spite of it. And also, when it's doing work, sometimes it's hard to tell, because they're not always playing right into it and letting you draw cards, much like a Curse Catcher. So now that I'm kind of trying to keep a close eye, and now that I've also had a ton more experience playing against this card and realizing how annoying it is to have to pay that tax, I'm thinking that this card is doing serious work, even when we're not necessarily noticing it. Plus, you know, sometimes they're incentivized to try to just kill it early with burn or whatever, and then we can buy it back with Leona Squire, and then they're like, ugh, because it's back. Anyway, let's get to the games. I think this should be interesting. Alrighty. Okay. Match 1. Okay, man. Alright, let's see here. Well, we've got Urza Saga. I say we gotta try it out. We gotta make sure we hit our land drops, so. Okay, burn. This is where having Core Firewalker could really help. Soul Guide Lantern is not the best for our purposes. Yeah. So yeah, I think we're gonna need to use Path. That's good. I think Core Firewalker is better than getting a Urza token. Yeah, let's Path this. Core Firewalker. Now let's wait, because we're not going to play Mishra's Bauble anyway, even if we do draw it off the top, so no reason not to just wait. Plus this could juice up. This could make juicier Urza tokens. Yes, and yes. I think I'm just going to get what's it called, Shadow Spear. Oh, never mind, I don't have Shadow Spear. I could attack. And I really wish I got that Urza token now. I think I need to do this. I should have got that as a token, because then I could have blocked. I think I need to path the Dragon Race Channeler because that is going to be harder to block in the long run. Yeah, because I want to play Winds of Abandon next turn. Of course, they could kill us here, but we'll see. Yeah, all of this is because I didn't get that Urza token, because I thought I had the, but, you know, at the same time, they had to rip this off the top, you know, to be fair. Alright, they probably think they're hot shit, but they won't win. I like Janeth's Magistrate because it can block easier. Maybe just 2. Thraben Inspector can still be helpful for blocking. And it juices the Urza tokens. Maybe Janeth's Magistrate should have been Soul Guide Lantern, and I think about it. Also, yeah, I don't know. Also, I should have probably Winds of Abandon last turn instead of put Luris to hand. Playing a little sloppy. But at least we might be giving them kind of a false sense of confidence that we might be able to use to our advantage somehow. Oh, this is not going to do it. Yeah, this is a little better because it's got the Urza Saga. I think their most devastating plays involve playing a creature on turn 1, for what it's worth. Thraben Inspector is just a little slow in being able to draw a card, so let's... Still, it's hard to argue with turn 1 Esper Sentinel, isn't it? We'll take like 1 hit maybe from Goblin Guide. Swift Spear isn't as bad to take only 1 damage. Yeah. This is going to make things very awkward for them. I could put Luris to hand, or we could just play Urza Saga. The problem with putting Luris to hand is that I don't see a real reason to do it just yet. I don't want to go Shields down. I'm going to try to play this one a little more carefully. See? I told you they were sandbagging something. This player really thinks they're clever, so we have to play accordingly. Yeah, we gotta do that. So we could produce a Urza token, or we could Leonin Squire next turn, bring back the Esper Sentinel, and that might be better. It's kind of a close call. Creating an Urza token is, I mean, it's only going to be a 2/2 for what it's worth. Yeah, let's just do this. We might draw us tons of extra cards by being able to have an extra Esper Sentinel. Yeah, let's go for Shadow Sphere. Let's try to equip to Squire. Alright, that's fine. Well, there's still a long ways to go to actually finishing me off. Although I guess all I need is one Boros Charm and triple bolt, but I don't know. Oh, good thing we got the construct token. I'll definitely chump block with the construct token, no doubt about that. Well, that's comforting. You need to play Leonin Squire and get Luris to our hand. Let's see, 3, 4, 5, 6, so yeah. Okay, we attacked for lethal. We're close. We're close, but I don't see a way we can generate another artifact here. Oh yeah, there is. We play Luna Squire. Okay, yeah, that's the plan, okay? That's the plan, okay? Okay, we get that thing out of the way. And I know this looks like maybe... Oh, but they had a land on top of their library, so maybe that was a mistake. But this does allow us to go for lethal, though. Because we can put this to our hand. This way, even if they have Skullcrack, which is probably the worst card they could have for us, we're still attacking for lethal. Because that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah. Next. This concession lag. Okay. Yeah, and this should... Yeah, but this is a better blocker. A part of me kind of wants to squeeze more Dranath Magistrates in here. Cathar Commando is a good surprising blocker and good at dealing with Eidolon. This is another thing too we forgot last game, is we could have used Cathar to deal with Eidolon. Esper Sentinel was nuts that game, but I feel it's going to be kind of less nuts on the draw. So I may want... Yeah, it's probably still more nuts than a Thraben Inspector, probably. I just kind of want, and I kind of need 1-drops that are capable of holding the line, so to speak. Against early aggression. One nice thing with Thraben Inspectors, it can block a Swift Spear on turn 1 unless they also have a... Well, but I guess we're on the draw, so that doesn't matter. Maybe we just run this back with the 2 Dranath. Our anti-Lurrus tech is not as strong, but Dranath is just much better when randomly drawn than Soulgang Lantern, because as a 1/3 it's actually a decent blocker. And it also does the Lurrus, anti-Lurrus duty. Thankfully it'll fix our opponent's Lurruses, not ours. Hopefully we're gonna keep their hate kind of split. Yeah, I don't think I could keep this. They need both anti-artifact hate and anti-core firewalker hate. Wow, no core firewalkers or Urzas. No nothing. Wow. So they might win this, but of course their winning this has nothing to do with their cleverness or lack thereof. We're just, this is just wow, just no core firewalkers at all. I was kind of hoping to have one. Or maybe I should have kept that first hand, but it just didn't seem like it was going to get there, and I don't know. Let's see. If they Searing Blaze, at least they might help replenish our hand a little bit. Okay. Dranath could be good. I don't like losing 2, but this is a decent blocker, although they might just Urza's Searing Blaze. Could chump block with Esper Sentinel. You know, if they Searing Blaze, that means the Esper Sentinel lives. Probably faulty thinking, but this is a half-decent blocker. I'm gonna have to chump block the Swiss Spear if they Searing Blaze the Dranath. Okay. Does that change anything? I think I have to chump block it. Although I don't know though, because yeah, I probably have to chump block it. But the Urza token is going to be so much stronger, but taking 5 seems dubious at best. I'll just easily remove this later. Well, so play Urza Saga into turn, and then maybe try to attack with Soul Guardian Lantern. Maybe this was a mistake though. Maybe we should have gone down to 11. And I'm just going to do this because we're going to make another token on their turn. That works for me. We need Elixir of Immortality. Yeah, we unfortunately it cannot be Shadow Spear because yeah, we can't equip just yet. If they play Skullcrack, that's mean, but we have to try to block here. Alright, good thing we gained 5 life. $10 down to 4. It goes back in our library, so we could refetch it again if need be. Okay. The issue here is that they are going to do a ton of damage, and I'm just not sure how to get around this. I think we need to go for a core Firewalker. That's the only way, and even then that might not be enough. We didn't do half bad for a mulligan to 4, and considering we horrendously misplayed game 1. Okay. Well, that's not a... guess we have to do this. To say that's not ideal is kind of an understatement. I think we have to play this out too. We have to hope they basically have nothing. I don't know. I don't know what this means. This means they just have... I'll tell you what this could mean. This could mean they have Deflected Palm. Because I don't know why they wouldn't just finish us off. This Shadow Spear. Maybe I shouldn't have played this just yet. It's probably a mistake. Yeah, that was a mistake. I don't know what I was thinking. I could have had another Cathar Commando up. He's gaining 5 life is no joke. But yeah, I would have been able to play Cathar Commando. Let me see how to arrange. So here's the thing, we actually kind of want the Eidolon in a way to stick around. Well, Kind of, but not really. If we go to 7, in order for them to triple block, they basically have to kill themselves. Yeah, I think at this point Eidolon is basically working for us. If we survive one more turn, we can get Elixir of Immortality. Okay. Yeah, Elixir of Immortality is going to be important. We definitely need to block this. I don't know why they didn't attack. Maybe actually I was secretly making the right move, because this is very critical that we're going to get Elixir of Immortality here. I'm going to try to equip. It just seems like the better call. Better call, Saul. They have to block, otherwise, yeah, they're gonna Eidolon lock themselves. Let's do this now. I just don't want them to skull crack or something. Wow, we actually managed to win this despite our horrendous whistling on turn 1. And on game 1, possibly. I think they're gonna have to chump block with Loras. Yeah, I don't see how they come back from this. They might have Path. Path would be their best card, but it's still, I think, not going to get them there. They got to do what they got to do. Nice. See, this is the power of Urza Saga. Do you honestly think the budget version without Urza Saga would be able to do this? Probably not. Although then again, maybe if I hadn't misplayed horrendously, maybe it wouldn't need to be bailed out like this. But Urza Saga is the card that can bail you out of tough situations like this. Few other cards can. Uh-oh, there's kind of some lag going on here. Alrighty. Alrighty. Okay. Alright, so far, Esper Sentinel, both in the budget version and in this version, seeming to kind of earn its keep here. Oh, no mana. I blame Esper Sentinel for that entirely. Yeah, I can put one planes to the bottom, and I think that won't overall affect things too poorly. I still will cycle Secluded Steppe. I might as well cycle it now in case I draw Mishra's Bauble. Okay. We might look a little noobish from to the other side, like, why are they cycling this on our turn? That they know it's an instant. It's like, yes, but, you know, Mishra's Bauble, so, and we don't have anything else to do. Oof, I hate all this free stuff. It is what it is. Oh yeah, it takes so long. La 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 la. This is where Core Firewalker can be a incredible asset here. Incredible. Even if they start flying over, being able to gain life if they try to burn us is very, very relevant. Plus it can block Ragadan, Ragavan. Ragadan. Does everything a Ragavan can. Let's play out Urza Saga. I think we want to save the Winds of Abandon for Murktide Regent. I'm assuming this is Izzet Murktide. Originally this was called Izzet Delver, but they don't like Delver anymore. They've abandoned Delver. They're like, you suck. You were once considered great, but we hate you now. It's poor Delver. Although Delver was never as good in Modern as it was in Legacy because of frickin' Brainstorm. Alrighty. Basic Queens. I guess there's no reason not to just... Oh yeah, I guess there was a reason not to, because we had we could make juicier tokens, so my bad. But maybe we draw Path, who knows. Nope. So I'm smelling a Murktide, but that is where Winds of Abandon could be helpful. I smell it. Yep. This is where Soul Guide Lantern, though, can definitely help. Alright, now the question is, do I want to play into Spell Pierce or not? I honestly don't think getting the extra token is that important in the grand scheme of things. I don't think it's worth Force Negation would still be pretty bad for us, but Spell Pierce would not do it. Okay, good. I could play Luris, but that will just immediately eat a bolt, won't it? But it will at least dodge a counterspell. Yeah, you know what? Dodging a counterspell I think is as best as we can do in this situation. It really is. And now our construct is a little juicier. I guess we'll attack with the construct. I see little downside of doing that. They respond to my attack with... They just want to show us who's boss. Show us who's the Alpha Dragon. I like this incidental life gain with Core Firewalker. if they get Delirium, we could chump block. So they've got to be a little bit wary of that. Alright, they can make a 6/6 Murktide if they really want, but I'm not going to bite just yet. Yeah, we'll power down our... Okay. Yeah, another Urza Saga is kind of sweet. Well, first things first, let's see if this resolves. I'm not so sure it will. Yeah, I can't say I'm surprised. Let's play this out. And I guess we can attack with the token. I guess there's a lot of incentive to wait with the token, isn't there? Yeah. Could play out Cathar Commando right now. I mean, what's the harm, right? Dodges a counterspell. Okay, I'm gonna, for better or for worse, I'm gonna just do this so they can't play Murktide. I'm just kind of drawing blanks here, and Murktide is the only card that really scares me at this point. These construct tokens will grow bigger, so they'll offer the trade with the commando. That's fine. So 6. -3 is 4. +1 is... No, -3 is 3. +1 is 4. Yeah, so we don't have enough mana to both create a token and play Cathar Commando. Alrighty. Dang it, man. Alright, maybe that was a mistake to play what do you call it, I mean to just sack the Lantern. Yeah, I don't know. If we delayed Murktide, that still kind of saves us life, doesn't it? Yeah, it kind of saves us life. Of course, they could have drawn it this turn, in which case it's like the same thing. But it only has 6/6 though, too, so we also kind of powered it down. I mean, if they attack, we're counter swinging for quite a bit, I must say. So that is something to consider. Yeah, who knows, maybe delaying Murktide that one turn was advantageous. Maybe we shouldn't have been clever and we should have tried to gain control of this. It's only going to be a 1-1 on their side though. Life gain is always nice. If they get Delirium though, that's not going to be good for them. Well, I mean it could be though, because alright, sure thing, bud. Well, this thing will become a 9-9 if we sack this, but we're already getting hit for 9, so or a 10-10. I'm thinking about trying to block the Dragon Race Channeler, but honestly we probably just need to draw a card anyway, so I think we'll pass up that opportunity. Hopefully we draw like 2 removal spells. Hopefully we draw like Path at end of turn and then like, okay. I mean, that's better than nothing, I guess. Definitely need to cycle this. Play this. Play this. Sometimes when we're just very, very low on creature removal, like we are here, sometimes it's just can just be a little bit challenging. This will take care of this. Alright, well they probably have a counter spell, but or a burn spell, or both. Not a lot of reason not to attack, I think. That's fine, that was kind of gonna trade with it anyway. Well, hopefully they don't have another bolt. Feels like we just got a little bit mana floody. Okay. But that means they must have a counterspell. guess we're good. We'll try to bait it out because they may not want to counter this unless they've got 2 counter spells. They might have 2 counter spells. Not that it matters, but I guess that just piques our curiosity. Historically, this has been one of our better matchups, so I'm not too worried. We just got kind of mana floody here. Like, if we had a better mix, I think we could have. Like, look, we just never drew more than 1 removal spell, going through almost half our deck. It just doesn't seem realistic, but, you know. Plus, Settle the Wreckage helps in games 2 and 3. Shadow Spear helps out. Soul Guide Lantern is nice, but I think we could trim 1 for 1 Shadow Spear. Esper Sentinel is good. They might bring in Blood, but I think Cathar Commando is unnecessary unless they do. But the threat of them doing so is definitely concerning. But I'm not going to live in fear of that. Granath Magistrate can stop them casting stuff off of Expressive Iteration, but it does not stop them from playing lands off of Expressive Iteration, so it's probably not worth it. Alright, let's go. So something to keep in mind is they're probably going to be bringing in Dress Down, because it is a very nice answer to the Urza tokens. As long as they don't have Spreading Seas, though, then at the end of the day, I think I'm still fine. Shadow Spear helps out a lot, because it can help turn our core Firewalkers into racing machines, rather than just defensive mechanisms. Dress Down, of course, does allow them to deal with core Firewalker. We'll see. You know, I don't want to be greedy. I will keep. In general, you kind of want to hold on to your removal spells, so I'm probably not going to play them all out yet. I'll tell you what I do want to play out, though. Esper Sentinel. Get this out. Getting this out earlier seems better. I also want to get out Thraben Inspector. This puts them in a situation where they can't Ragadash us. And we can take 1 hit with a Deliriumed up, Dragonways Channeler. It is what it is. But they're probably going to want to hit Esper Sentinel. This makes life awkward for them, and then we can buy it back with Leonin Squire next turn. Okay, I don't feel like hitting it just yet. Let's do this. Yeah, I guess we'll just do this. They might play Counterspell, but if they do, it's not the end of the world. I mean, because, like, yeah, it's really not the end of the world. But I do think it's correct to try to play this out. Helps deal with Delirium. Helps just draw a card. If they counter it, it gets a counterspell out of their hand. And we get to draw a card. Win or lose, we have to give Esper Sentinel the credit is due. It helped us draw a card here. That it did. I'm gonna try to play it safe with the Ragged Dashing. Murktide, Murky Murk. Murky Murk. Alright, so what I should probably do is Winds of Abandon, no. Either that or I should Path and then return Soul Guide Lantern. That probably is no, but actually, you know what we can do? We can just Winds of Abandon, which is probably slightly better. Cast this, do this, yeah. Play this. I think we can be a little bit more. No, we really don't want the Ragged Dashing. We can play Squire next turn. Okay. Or we can just make a token next turn. Pay that tax, pay that tax. Yeah, Esper Sentinel doing work. Alright. We'll probably Bolter a Sentinel, which is fine. We'll get it back with Leon Squire and a biggie. Alrighty. Should we Path the Dragon Race Channeler? Maybe so. It's kind of gotten to that point. Heesh. Nah, Soul Guide Lantern is gonna do a number, so we'll just do Soul Guide Lantern. We can even maybe position it to where yeah, we'll just take. So we could, yeah, why don't we just make a token and then we can go get another Soul Guide Lantern. Yeah, seems like a slightly more optimal use. And we actually kind of want this to attack. Keyword kind of. So we'll take one sorcery out of the graveyard, but not both. And you know what? We can also play Leon Squire for what it's worth. Get Mishra's Bauble back. I like it. So they're going to have to clear all these creatures out in order not to lose the DRC. Unless they play Murktide, in which case we do have a lot of removal, thankfully. Alright, they think they're really something with all this Expressive Iteration. And to be fair, it's a strong card. But it doesn't make them invincible. Contrary to what they may think. Alright, we got the Path, so no biggie. You could try to play Settle and Path, but I don't want to be cheeky. Or do I? Something to keep in mind in your explosives. Let's do this now for Hold Our Peace. This time I think we'll just... We need to draw more lands. Okay, good. Now we can play this. I'm going to get Soul Guide my turn back. That seems not bad to me. Yeah, I like it. This leaves us vulnerable to Ragged Ashing, so I don't know why we did this. Not very smart, not a smart fellow, are you? Sorry, I didn't mean that, but I mean, that's just a misplay, I think, on their part. But they were playing so carefully before, I don't know why they dropped their careful play guard. It just sucks that, like, if we win this because they made a dumb misplay, I wanna face this deck at its best, but it is what it is. They might punish our arrogance here by just winning anyway, but I'm not trying to be arrogant. I just don't like. You know, it's just frustrating when there's misplays from either of us. But I'm not trying to be mean to them or anything. 1-0, okay. The Murktide. Hopefully we draw a... Okay, that actually is not bad. Really not bad. It's so not bad that I'm not so worried about Ragged Ashing anymore. Okay, you got it. You got it. Here's Johnny. They must not have Serum Visions, otherwise you definitely think they would have played it by now. I'll try to Pathy Path. Four islands. Three islands. Ha ha ha. I am the Count from Sesame Street. I should have put an E on one, I think, too. They're putting up a hell of a fight. We gotta give them respect. We gotta give the deck respect. We gotta give the player respect, of course, but we have to give the deck respect in that they're misplaying and their power, the deck's still kind of bailing them out on some level. So somehow, part of this might be their draws. There doesn't seem to be that much different about this than the other decks that I normally beat, but I gotta give them credit. They are performing, I think, a bit above average. Their deck, and maybe to some extent them. They might be making good plays that are flying over our head. We can't be too sure of things, you know what I mean? We really can't. Looks like the game is stalling out a little bit. Okay, so EE on one, kind of only a matter of time. Alrighty. We need a Cave of the Frost Dragon here yet? Okay. Alright, so we can play Urza Saga. The tokens are going to get blown up by EE, but we can. It's kind of like a super cycler in a way because it's going to get either a Mishra's Bauble or something. We'll see. It has its moments. Alright, we'll try to settle the wreckage just because I need to get this out of my hand. Alrighty. So I can hit one of their lands. I'm not sure if they have any fetchable lands yet left. I don't know if I want to waste a perfectly good Field of Ruin. They use 3 Steam Vents. I don't know if they have 4 Steam Vents in their deck. They might. Let's do it. This could backfire, but... Okay, that's sweet. They're out of Steam Vents. Either that or they don't want to Lightning Bolt themselves to get the last Steam Vents. Not bad. Glad I took that risk. Okay. I mean, what's the harm, right? The harm is the EE. It doesn't matter though, because we're already kind of... Shadow Spear could be useful, but I say let's get the Soul Guide Lantern. Let's hit their EE. Oh, that's not a good idea. I should have hit their land. We could sack this. And I guess we probably should. No, we don't need to sack this. Yeah, we'll sack it another turn. Yeah, let's be patient with this. Let's try to block with Cave of the Frost Dragon. If they try to Unholy Heat, we can Soul Guide Lantern. And maybe still block with Esper Sentinel. Yeah, we got the Soul Guide Lantern, so I think we're okay. So let that resolve first. You'd think they'd just crack the Fiery Islet. I had to use a lot of removal spells on that, so doesn't worry me too much. Hopefully we get a Leon and Arbiter. I mean a Leon and Squire. Not bad. Not bad at all. I mean, I might as well use it now. I'm not going to try to be clever with the Settle the Wreckage. Every little bit counts in this matchup. Alright. I guess I'll wait, because what if we draw like another Soul Guide Lantern or something? Alright, well, let's do this just in case. They have Force and Negation and they're thinking about using it. I'll take the hard draw, if so. Or they're just going to concede. It's kind of like a concession. Concession, okay. No core Firewalkers at all that game. The draws are always strange in this deck, but as long as we win, I guess, who cares in the end, right? You know what, I think the Soul Guide Lanterns are good enough that I think we actually prefer them over the Mishra's Baubles. I do like these though. Maybe we don't need all 4 Settle the Wreckages. Seems kind of dubious though. I think any of these is welcome. Yeah, that's probably just the most cuttable. Why am I getting so many notifications this early in the morning? On a weekend, no less. Anyway. Yeah, Polaris, I choose you. I think the Blink Blade deck definitely has an even better matchup. This is like, I don't know. Yeah, hopefully I take a mulligan too. Otherwise, life is unfair. Yeah, not bad. Doesn't look like they mulliganed. So life is unfair sometimes, folks. It's just the way it is. I guess I'll ditch that. Yeah. Ah, gotta hate all this free stuff that they're doing. Pay mana for your spells. See how much better this would have been if this was on the play. It's the same card you looked at the end of my turn, though. Let's attack, because I have a feeling they're going to kill this in response to me playing the second Esper Sentinel. I might as well get an attack in before. Okay, well, they just kill it now. Fair enough. Yep, see? Marnie. We need that Soul Guide Lantern, I think. Could attack. A little bit worried about Ragged Dashing, but I think they kind of have to deal with this one way or the other anyway, don't they? This card causes too many headaches to them. Yeah, see what I mean? They have to deal with it. Ragged Dashing or not. Not bad. I guess I'll just make one token then. Yeah, so many different card types, whatever. They really think they're clever. Let's play this. I may want to teak them off of Murktide. It's probably a mistake, but we're going to do it nonetheless. So it's just, the problem is Subtle Wreck is a little bit unreliable because it's 4 mana, and I have to wait till their turn, giving them almost infinite opportunity to counter it. will attack. I will survive. Actually, we're not that far ahead of them on the clock. We gotta keep that in mind. I will survive. Okay. Alrighty. Alright, now they might have counterspell, but this is as good of an opportunity as any to try to land Laris. Sometimes it feels like they've always got it, but anyway. I'm gonna do this while they're tapped out. Or maybe on their upkeep. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna wait, because if we can play one creature and stick it, then we have a good chump blocking machine. Or we can just play Winds of Abandon. There's options here. Yeah, see. Alrighty. Plus we can maybe try to play Settle the Wreckage. Yeah, let's go first. Try to play Settle the Wreckage. It's probably not going to succeed, but we can always sack to prevent from taking massive damage if it fails. Oh, or it resolves. It's always nice. And I think they have 3 islands, so now our Field of Ruin is a one-sided Stone Rain. That also doesn't put us out of land. And also is just a land. Lightning bolt, oh lightning bolt, oh lightning bolt, oh lightning bolt, oh bolt, oh bolt. Alrighty. We might as well hold this up for ragged dashing or other things, who knows. Oh, Juice the Mind Sculptor. That actually is a little bit problematic. Maybe I should have brought in my Pithing Needles. I think this is only a 1-of though, but now I need creatures, and I need them bad. Yeah, it's pretty unlikely that they just draw their 1-of Jace, so we don't need to think too much of this. Yeah, they're really going at it. Yeah, we're going to try to Settle the Wreckage. We have an impenetrable line of defense here. Alright. Yeah, let's just play this out. See, that's what we cycled though, because we just draw another land drop. Yeah, Murktide is fine, don't worry. Nothing to see here, folks. Also helps in case of Blood Moon. It's fine. Now we'll path this, because then now we can hit the Jace away with the Cave of the Frost Dragon. Pretty good stuff. Pretty good stuff. Pretty good stuff. Although they might have dang it. They took way too long to play. Yeah, they just took way too long. Yeah, you know, like, but in reality, they were very unlikely to draw their one-up Jace. Plus, we kind of misplayed by not having just at least one Pithing Needle in the sideboard. We have this matchup covered, so I don't worry about this too much. All right, cool stuff. But this was overall a good player that just made one critical mistake with blocking with that Dragon Race Channeler last game, which may have cost him the match. So anyway, yep. All right, match 3 against Koopa King. That is a cool name. We'll definitely keep. And I think so far both Esper Sentinel and Urza Saga have really shown their worth. Like, honestly though, I tried Urza Saga in basically all my other decks besides Mono Red because Blood Moon just shuts it off really bad. And believe it or not, Urza Saga just isn't, like, it's a good card, but the format's prepared for it, and like, in the other decks, the positives don't necessarily outweigh the negatives, as far as I'm concerned. At this deck, though, the positives are definitely very, very high, and very, very worth it, so. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that we just have so many incidental artifacts. Well, good thing they can't take our Urza Saga. You can take our Leonin Squire or our Path, but you can't take our Urza Saga. Hey, you gotta give them credit. They respect the power of Leonin Arbiter or Leonin Squire. It's a very solid card, so I don't blame them. Now the other problem is if this is Death Shadow, then it was incorrect to attack, but we cannot assume it's Death Shadow, although the way they played may be a clue, but it could be a false flag too. A false friend, false flag, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. Yeah. Ready. Probably not Death Shadow. I don't think I've ever seen a Death Shadow play Castle Vantress. Now, that doesn't mean that it can't be Death Shadow, but I'm definitely feeling much more control vibes here. Way more control vibes, if that makes sense. We might just want to hold on to the Mishra's Factory for extra juice. That's just Bauble, I mean. Oh, it's Esper Control. I'm going to tag it right now. Oh, it might be Esper Reanimator, Esper Control. It's Esper Reanimator. That's a reanimation card because they can reanimate it for extra value. It's actually a very cool innovation. At first it seemed a little silly, but see, I wonder why people think that I'm such a mad genius. There's actually a lot of mad geniuses in this game. Maybe it's just so hard to pinpoint like who the original mad genius was that originally thought of these other ideas in these other decks. Although I just don't follow these decks as much, so for all I know, every archetype has their mad. I'm not that I'm a mad, not that I'm calling myself a mad genius or anything, but you know, like, yeah, let's just do this. Yeah, let's definitely get our Soul Guide Lantern. Kasploosh. Let's play another Soul Guide Lantern. Kasploosh. And they've just had enough. They're just like, what did I do to deserve this? And see, that's the power versus Saga as well. Just grabbing these Soul Guide Lanterns in the graveyard matchups. Hoo hoo hoo. Hoo hoo hoo. What are our options? What are our options? Yes, 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 yes. We could play Dreneth Magistrate because that shuts off. I think since they play, no, I don't. They might play some Planeswalkers, but yeah. So they play at least some Planeswalkers. So we need at least one Pithing Needle. So first things first, I think this can come out for Dreneth Magistrate because they do actually play a lot of Faithful Mendings out of the graveyard, right up from Burial Rite sometimes. Dreneth Magistrate is just a 1/3 as well, but it is not necessarily that great, so we probably can take it out. Well, I think it's probably better than Core Firewalker if we're going to be honest with ourselves. Definitely need at least one Pithing Needle because these Planeswalkers can be a doozy. I think they have a relatively few amount of these Planeswalkers though. I don't want to overdo it, but these can also hit their Castle Vantress. They play Little Teferi and they play Big Teferi. Does that warrant playing all 4 Pithing Needles, though? You know what? Let's do it. I don't care. I'm doing it. I'm throwing all caution to the wind. I'm playing 4 Pithing Needles. Sue me. If they didn't change their list. But the reason why I'm tilting in favor of playing this is that it just helps juice up their Urza tokens as well. So let's needle those Little Teferis and needle the Big Teferi, and then maybe needle Castle Ventress. I don't know. Well, no graveyard hate, no anything hate. I think this has to be. Yeah, well, at least we got a path as some type of backup plan. I guess we can put Secluded Steppe to the bottom because, yeah, I just like curving Inspector into Leonin Squire buyback, Mishra's Bauble, into maybe Crack Token. Crack Clue Token, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. And Urza Saga blows this hand wide open. In terms of, not that we're automatically going to win, but in terms of suddenly the hand ain't so bad anymore. Leonin Squire. You'll get caught up in the Leonin Squire. Leonin Squire. Ready. Maybe that was a mistake. Yeah, we shouldn't have done that, because if they discard, they have one more card. Let's hopefully it's not something good. Okay, asking you to receive. We got a crap card. No, I was kidding. we shouldn't have asked for a crap card. But it's not a crap card. It's just misunderstood. Alright. Bye-bye, Leonin Squire. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Or they might take Path, but I don't know. It actually turned out good that I cracked that on our turn, because now we can cycle the Secluded Steppe. Okay, we have to hide that if it turns out that they shuffle that away. Which I'm guessing they will. Okay, well, we need to hit our land drops, so kasploosh. Alright, bye-bye, Faithful Mending. That got shuffled away. I guess we'll do this on their upkeep. Good, very good to know about Counterspell. This is why we put the Pithing Needles in here, because like Little Teferi would be so annoying. At least if we prevent it from being able to bounce or tick up or anything, goes a long way towards being less. Okay, they're gonna Prismatic Ending that. Not too bad. That means if we draw the a Soul Guide Lantern, we'll hopefully be in better shape. Okay. All right, let's see if they just let this. Okay, well, you know, this is cheesy, but I'm gonna name Polluted Delta. I think they can use their lands, so. Alrighty, they unmarked. They did put something in an unmarked grave. That did happen. They were probably not expecting Pithing Needle. I don't blame them. Now, I probably don't want to play Cathar Commando if they bring back whatever it's called. I'll just do this on their turn because I don't want them to have multiple. I should have probably. Alright, well that's a downgrade. That might make it harder for them to play Counterspell. Alrighty. Maybe I could have played Cathar Commando, but I don't know, we'll see. I'm gonna try to hit this. Hopefully if you take them off of white, that does things. Oh man, hitting Polluted Delta may have been very mean. I want to play Cathar Commando, but I don't want to just lose it if they play Archon, and we're just drawing towards Soul Guide Lantern. Here it is, and they can't counter it. Yeah, Archon of Cruelty, Kasploosh. Kasploosh. You know, I guess I'm just going to play this now before they can drop a basic island and counter it. I don't really see the downside. Oh my god. Well, I guess I would have shut two of these off even if they, well, they would have had a totally different deck configuration if they shuffled, but anyway. Man. We really caught them with their pants down, so to speak, with that Pithing Needle. I wasn't planning to do that. I was gonna name Little Teferi, but it is what it is, right? It is what it is, and it isn't what it isn't. You know how it goes. That's just how the games go sometimes. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. The question is, when is like too much bad luck for them? Too much. The human spirit can only take so much crushing bad luck. I've been there. in Magic and otherwise. Of course, you could also live your life like there is no such thing as luck. Which, by the way, people only extol the virtues of that. They never talk about the downsides. I used to believe that. I used to believe, just basically pretend like luck doesn't exist. I was never dumb enough to like literally believe that there was no such thing as luck. But I used to, yeah, I guess we'll play Little Teferi. But I used to be like, what's the harm in, I used to be like, what's the harm in, just basically pretending like it doesn't exist. Okay, cool stuff. And the harm, by the way, is if things go very wrong for you, you'll end up excessively blaming yourself. It could cause serious psychological harm, actually, if you take that too far. There's a little grain of truth in the self-help advice to basically live life like there is no luck, like everything is kind of your creation. But number one, don't become an arrogant a-hole, because that definitely could happen if you subscribe to that too hard. And number two, be kind to yourself if things aren't going right. Try to learn from your mistakes. Don't blame everything on luck, but be kind to yourself, because if you literally blame yourself for everything that goes wrong, it's not good. Trust me. Anyway, let's see here. Yep. All right, next one. Oh right, match 5. Little point of clarification. So actually, the question of whether or not there is luck or not, it's both kind of a self-help debate, but it's also actually an interesting kind of science/philosophical debate. From what I understand, and I could be totally wrong because I'm not, I was an arts major, so I was kind of more interested in philosophy. I was more interested in useless things in general. No, let's not go that far. But like there is an interesting debate, and I think the science community might be more or less unanimous that essentially there is no such thing as luck in the sense that like everything that happens in the universe, I believe, more or less happens because of forces that some of which we do not necessarily understand, some of which we do. But like if you flip a coin, for example, whether a coin hits heads or tails is not actually random like we think. It's based on the precise physics of how your thumb makes, how much pressure your thumb applies to the coin, what the wind conditions are, if there is any, maybe the Earth's gravitation, maybe the Earth's rotation, I don't know, but there's all these forces that act on the coin. And actually, I think if you could measure the conditions under a coin flip and do it in an incredibly precise mechanical way under exactly identical circumstances every time, you would be able to produce identical coin flips every time. The reason why it's random, though, is because we do not have the ability to comprehend exactly how much force we're applying to that coin flip, nor all of the surroundings, like what the wind condition is and all these other things. So to us, it's essentially random. That's my understanding, and please correct me if I'm mistaken. However, that doesn't mean luck doesn't exist. That doesn't mean randomness doesn't exist. Randomness very well could exist, and I think it does exist, but it exists in our mind. But the thing is, since we live in a world that is very much shaped by our minds, because it's very much shaped by the decisions we make and the rules, for better or for worse, we make for both ourselves and that we expect others to follow. Since this world is very much governed by the human mind in many ways, and since the human mind is very much subject to randomness because there's so many things we don't know, and which might as well to us be random because we can't comprehend them. Luck very much does exist. So I'm on the camp that luck does exist, but not in the scientific sense, in the philosophical sense, in the sense that, anyway, well, that's neither here nor there, like, because of the human mind, whatever, yada yada. I don't know. I should get back to the game. Sorry, opponent, it just kind of came to my mind. I don't see a universe in which not leading an Esper Sentinel is correct, but then again, I might just have a very short-sighted viewpoint. Who knows? Oh, Liberator, not bad. Not bad. This is probably Yawg. Oh, it's a creature, isn't it? So that means I don't draw a card. That was one of the things I was hoping, actually, is to draw a card if they dropped a Grist, but yeah. C'est la vie. Alright, well, maybe, should I just attack? No, it juices up the Urza token, so. Jiren, Corrupted Bishop. What is up with this new trend in Wizards to just basically take pictures of like people that I assume work at the office, but then just be like, hey, we're gonna use your picture. We got Dragon Rage Channeler Lady, we got Draneth Magistrate guy, we've got Jiren the Corrupt Bishop guy. So they're just like normal people that are just hanging around their office. Hey, you want to be a Magic card? Maybe I just don't recognize these people and they're actually famous. I want to say that Draneth Magistrate guy looks a little bit like Brad Nelson, but I don't know. That's probably a stretch. I highly doubt that was his like invitational card or whatever. Day and night. Whenever I think of day and night mechanics, I cannot help but think about Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest. Oh, what a horrible night. I never actually played that game. But you know what? That actually might be the AVGN's. Yeah, let's just attack. That might be the AVGN's magnum opus as far as like and that was like, I think that was his first episode too. It's, you know. Anyway, I'm a little surprised they didn't. I guess they want to hit our tokens. Oh, what a terrible night. But anyway, the thing is, he actually kind of likes Simon's Quest, from what I understand. He just wants to he just wanted to share a lot of his nitpicks. And boy, oh boy, are those atomic level nitpicks, because it looks actually like a solid game that has like atomic problems. Let's put it that way. Ugh. Well, yeah, this is a little gross here. Part of me wants to save up for Winds of Abandon. Mommy, I want to save up for Winds of Abandon. Well, let's do this. Yeah, let's just Winds of Abandon. If we need to wipe the whole board, hopefully we'll have another one. But realistically, there's a pretty good chance that there's going to be another Yawgmoth in our future long before we get to that point. Which means that the match may have kind of spiraled out of hand, but, you know, we'll see. Geist. I've got Castlevania stuck in my head now. The day-night mechanic. Somebody might have just been playing Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest at Wizards and be like, hey, the day-night mechanic. Oh, what a terrible night. We still have this day-night token, even though that card left the battlefield. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Yeah. I guess it is what it is. If they can combo off, they can combo off in response to me pathing anyway, so I'll just try to make a token. Whatevs. Oh, but maybe not actually, because I just realized even though they can combo off, I can hold up path, and I can maybe interact. Ah, see, they're going for it. So, good thing we were a bit patient. A little bit on the patient side. La 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 la. Oh, this sucks. What a terrible night. La 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 la. That freaking Capcom versus Namco theme. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. That's a creature, so it can be eaten with scavenging. You just gotta keep that in mind. So they'll probably just sacrifice a token or a Birch Paradise and kill this thing. And then I will be a sad camper. Yep, see what I mean? Lots of Yawgmoths in our future. Or Yawgmoths, excuse me. I guess I should have cracked the Soul Guide, but obviously they had the combo if they didn't, so either way. Jeez, this lag. Pithing Needle is this is one of the premier reasons to play Pithing Needle here. Does Giant eventually do anything? The answer is no, because the stuff just comes back. It's not being cast from their graveyard. Core Firewalker seems kind of... I mean, sometimes just a body is nice. And man, oh man, can Cathar Commander just be kind of a dud. I don't think they play any artifacts or enchantments, and it just gets blocked by everything, because it has 1 toughness. So this could be a problem, taking this out, but... And we definitely want to sneak Shadow Spear in here, though, I'll tell you that much. And I don't know that we actually need Esper Sentinel that badly. They just actually don't play that many non-creature spells. I'll just replace one of these with 1 Shadow Spear. It's still like just a decent 1/1 for 1. So we'll still play it, but it's the most cuttable card, I think. I don't think Elixir of Immortality is worth it, because we're not playing Shadow Spear for the life gain as much as we are for... Well, I mean, we are in a way, but like Elixir of Immortality is just more of a straight-up burn card. You gotta admit, it's kind of sweet that it shuffles back in your library so that Urza Saga can grab it again, but this is just not the matchup for it. It's mostly just mill and burn. Oh, what a terrible night. Luris. Golgari. Yawgmoth. 0/1. Alrighty. This hand, though, is not going to get there. It's just not. This hand has a little more potential. Yeah, I don't think Esper Sentinel is all that great. In this matchup, at least. Question is, do we just run Pithing Needle out? I mean, I think we have to, for better or for worse. I mean, they've got answers in the form of that Day-Night card, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to be clever, because I kind of have to do this, because it just generates too much value as soon as it hits play. And their deck does kind of revolve around it. Da -da 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 -da. I guess we'll name Grist. Hopefully I don't play that Day Knight card, but if they do, I can rebuy it at least. I wish you could play. I wish Fifth Needle had Flash. It's probably a little too cheeky. Alright. Yeah, I guess I'll put Luris to hand. I don't know though. This game might just not be going so well. And Mishra's Bauble or something could definitely help. Interest Evolution. They're probably going to get that Day Knight card. Oh, what a terrible night. Alrighty. Well, at least this helps out. Question is, do we want to play Luris or do we want to play? Yeah, we want to play Luris, I think. Although they might just play no, we want them to sack it on Grist. So this, this just, I think, puts more pressure on them to do something right away. They're gonna hit Grist and they're gonna hit Yawgmoth. Yeah, Yawgmoth. Yeah, so they might just combo right now. I don't think it was correct to put both of these out, both naming Yawgmoth, and holding it in hand wouldn't have changed anything because, as you can see, we just drew another one, so same scenario. It's not a matter of... Okay. Can they make infinite snake tokens? They can draw infinite cards, but it does cost them life. Oh, they got their Port of Home, right? Alright, good for them. Alright, match 5. We're on the draw here. Alright, finally we can keep it. We can keep an initial hand. So there's that. What if we keep? La 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 la. La 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 la. Unfortunately, I think we have to play this, and the reason why is that if we try to crank out Urza tokens next turn, we won't be able to. But we might not want to play Urza Saga, period. We'll see. We might want to play Urza Saga. Yeah, I think we probably do. They could really get us a Spreading Seas, but in my experience, they usually just play Spreading Seas right now. One reason to play out Urza Saga immediately is if this is like another Esper Reanimator deck, then and they countered us, for example, we want the Urza Saga to get another Lantern ASAP. Definitely feels Reanimate-y because, yeah, this is Reanimator again. Reanimator, Brave Crusader. Let's see here. Do I want to hit Faithful Mending or Archon Cruelty? I think Faithful Mending. Because we can always just sack this in response to whatever they do, but this actively hamstrings them. Starting next turn, I'm being able to do that again. Faithful Mending. Yeah, yeah. Urza Saga helps juice this deck up quite a bit. Yeah, yeah. And we get to play a deck that abuses Urza Saga finally. So we get to know what all the fuss is about. I could play the Soul Guide Lantern, but let's just try to get max value from Urza Saga. La 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 la. Multi-drifter. Yeah, yeah. If they try to. That's another good reason to hold up. Yeah, sorry, pal. I don't like that. Alright, yeah, I guess we have to sack the clue token. Oh my god, all the Soul Guide Lanterns. What the frick? I could play another Soul Guide Lantern, but at this point I'm seriously worried about them playing something like Engineer Explosives on one. So I'll just hedge a little bit against that possibility, even though I don't think they play EE. They can play whatever they want at the end of the day. So I'll try to mitigate downsides just a little bit. Alright, that's what it is. We'll get rid of the token. Hardy har har har. Alright, hardy har har har. Alright. Are they gonna push me or path me? Alright, no pushing or pathing this time. Yeah, I'll just put this into hand. It just seems like the thing to do. Alright, so this is what we're going to do here. We're going to sack. And we're going to play Luris. And then we're going to try to bring back the Soul Guide Lantern. Alright. I'm sure they're going to kill this, but we can get Archon. Alrighty. Now the Soul Guide Lanterns are also draw engines, which is nice. Could play this and then rebuy it once again, but let's just attack first. I'm going to attack with just this because I have a feeling that they're going to play Solitude. Or not. You might counter this. Okay. Alrighty. Mishra's Bauble would be a much more cost-effective way to get this recursion engine going, but I'll take what I can get. Bring this back. Just in case they do Solitude. Alrighty. Are they going for a hard cast Archon? This is lethal. Okay. Well, I mean, you gotta give them credit. They didn't just immediately concede. They wanted to play this out. Good for them. Very good for them. Alright, let's see. I think we're doing the Pithing Needle tech from last Reanimator. We're not necessarily going to catch them by surprise, but they do play Little Teferi and sometimes Big Teferi too. And I think that's better than... And I think playing these is better than playing a pro-red creature against a deck that doesn't have anything red. A true Grizzly Bears. Ooh. La. Alright, Loris. Alright. Can't complain about this hand. Since they're on the plate, I'm not gonna play Soul Guide Lantern because if they've got Grief or Thoughtseize, the odds, I mean, at this point we're only playing around them ripping it off their top. We're not playing around them having it an opening hand. So we'll definitely just play this out. The main thing is we don't want to get hit by a turn 1 prismatic ending. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. We'll do this. Just in case they shuffle, we get to see more cards in their deck. On a marked grave, yeah. A marked grave USA, yeah. Alright, so we get to see their Solitude again. Oh, they shuffled it. Alright, no more Solitude. Yeah. Just in case they have Force Negation, which seems unlikely, still just do this. And this is good because it gets advantage no matter what. Oh, they might have Force Negation. Okay, then. I would have Force Negation even if we would have had to draw a card. For sure. Alright, cool story, bro. Now we get some advantage even if they Prismatic Ending persist. I'd rather not. Yeah, I don't know what to say. I'd just really rather not. And Leon and Squire. Leon and Squire. Y'all got caught up in the Leon and Squire. Leon and Squire. Jeez, this deck is so good against Reanimator. just because of its dinky little dinkiness. Sometimes this deck isn't like the true budget deck, but it's budget compared to this deck. I'll tell you that much. Pure MHayashi jank right here. I'll get caught up in the Leon and Squire. I want to play Leon and Squire, but I also want to buy back Soul Guide Lantern. So let's compromise here and let's just crack a token. Krakatoa! Alright, let's just do this. Let's put more pressure out, even if it's just little dinky pressure at the moment. Now I think I can buy back the Mistress Bauble and it's not too big of a deal. Hate missing my land drops though, that sucks. Alright, let's try to not miss our land drops. Let's play Little Teferi. That is not drawing lands here, this sucks for them. And we can't hit our land drops either, like what the frick? Come on, hit our land drop, hit our land drop, hit our land drop, yes. Okay. Stone of Silence. Eh. Alright. Post-league wrap-up. Alright, post-league wrap-up. So, yeah, I mean, good showing. Solid 4-1. You know, obviously would have been nice if we could have gotten a trophy, but getting a trophy is always hard because there's always at least one deck in these leagues that kind of has your number. And I don't know if that Yawgmoth really has our number per se. I know we've beaten it before, but I think it requires Urza Saga kind of going nuts. And now that they've got the new What a Terrible Night card that like can destroy artifacts, and they're like their own kind of Cathar Commander for 2. Yeah, now that they got the green Cathar Commander, it's a little bit more tricky to land that Urza Saga and maybe even get Shadow Spear in games 2 and 3 for trample, Pithing Needles. You know, like Urza Saga really helps out a lot in the matchup, and if they can deal with it, that obviously goes a long way to helping them out. But the rest of the matchups, I mean, you got to give Izzet Murktide credit. You know, they fought a super good fight, and they definitely made some mistakes. We made some mistakes too, though, so it's not like, yeah, and our deck could have performed better too. But at the end of the day, I do think Izzet Murktide, aside from like unexpected, you know, one of Jace's appearing out of nowhere at unopportune times. Although probably in this deck we can afford to play like at least a one of Pithing Needle just to avoid that eventuality. But either way, aside from that, I think it's absolutely a favorable matchup, and you know, I'm just glad we got to be able to. Our record reflects that. Boros Burn, man, what a rush! But hey, the Elixir of Immortality and the Shadow Spear and the Core Firewalkers all had to double team to win that one. So definitely not disappointed in our card choices there. Esper Reanimator for the games 3 and games 5. I don't know what to say other than just that Soul Guide Lantern plus being able to recur it with Leon Esquire is just kind of mean. And yeah, I liked how the deck performed. I really don't think I would change anything. Honestly, it's still probably serviceable even with the Conjurer's Baubles, but Esper Sentinel I think just adds a lot. It's not like the most budget card for the budget version, but here, you know, we're not as concerned about budget anyway, so I think it's good stuff. I really do. Anyway, until next time, everyone, I hope you enjoyed this, and whether it's the budget version or whether it's the non-budget version, and let me know like if it's just a waste of time to play the budget version, because we definitely, it's like I said, it's very rare that there's a deck that's almost strictly worse between budget and regular, because we can usually play other alternative cards that aren't just strictly worse. And to be fair, like I said, Castle Ardenvale is not strictly worse, but it definitely is not as good as Urza Saga in this deck. I think we can all agree on that. So let me know if basically this deck scratches the itch to see how like a more budget-friendly mono white deck goes, or you know, I could still pilot the budget version. I just hate the way Urza Saga is just it just fits this deck so well, because this deck was basically designed to be a budget alternative to the Blinkblade deck. It's just that the best sort of budget-ish mono white deck that I could build that wasn't strictly worse than Blinkblade, it just happened to evolve in such a direction that Urza Saga juiced it up to the point where I'm like, dang, man. And that's one of the reasons why I have 3 decks of everything, by the way, is because a lot of times my budget version still ends up missing some cards that still could juice it up. So that's kind of my thought process, is I've got like a non-budget deck where I just go all out. I don't care. I just build the best deck I can in those colors that also speaks to me and is a MHayashi deck, so to speak. But then I also have like a budget deck, but then I also have like a deck that where you add money to it, where it's kind of intermediary. But then my mono black deck is kind of something else, because I've got the Obosh, version and the non-Obosh version, and that one's a little bit different because I've actually got 2 different non-budget versions, and then I got 1 budget version. But that budget version, I don't think there's really any money I could really even add to it that would make it better. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. We're talking about mono white. So just let me know if you're interested in seeing the Castle Ardenvale version instead of Urza Saga, or if you just want to see me jam and maybe try to get a trophy with the Urza Saga version, because I definitely think I've got a better chance of doing that with the Urza Saga version. But you know, the Castle Ardenvale version, definitely Castle Ardenvale has its pluses. Plus, it produces white. Can't take that away from it. Anyway, until next time, I hope you all enjoyed, and I hope you continue to enjoy, and I hope you like this crazy experiment with this. I mean, like, nothing like this even. I wouldn't even believe like a deck like this was viable until I tried it. Sometimes I just try things, you know. All right. Anyway, until next time.